right, let's look at something kind of weird. Jim is a nice person. How do we translate that into a standard form categorical statement? Do we do something like all Jims are nice people? Well, probably not, because that's not true. Not all Jims are nice people. Some of them are jerks. Okay, so then maybe we go for some Jims are nice people. And that's true. There's at least one Jim that's a nice person, because this statement here says Jim is a nice person. But the problem with this statement, some Jims are nice people, is it doesn't identify which of the Jims is the nice person, because the original statement is identifying a particular individual, whereas some Jims just says, some number of them, maybe 1,000, maybe 2, who knows, but it doesn't allow us to know which is the Jim that's the nice person. Now consider a statement like this. I have the day off this Sunday. Do we translate that as all Sundays are days I have off? Well, no, because it might not be the case that you have all Sundays off. So even though you have this Sunday off, you don't necessarily have all Sundays off. So then maybe we say, all right, well, some Sundays are days I have off. Does that get it? I have the day off this Sunday? Well, no. If somebody said, hey, one of these Sundays we should get together and go rafting, just let me know when you're off. And you say, well, some Sundays are days I have off. Well, great. But we need to plan a rafting trip. So I need to know which of the Sundays you have off. Telling me that some Sundays are days you have off doesn't tell me when we can go rafting. Now, the answer to the question, or the solution to the problem that's being illustrated here, is this thing called parameters. And parameters are discussed in chapter 2.17, and they are your friend. Parameters work kind of like frames that we can insert our subject and predicate terms into to turn them into countable noun phrases that identify particular things. Okay, so if we're being told that this particular Jim is a nice person, we could use the parameter people identical to create the statement, all people identical to Jim are nice people. Okay, now I know this is super clunky and this is not the way that people in the real world talk, but we need to be able to take these statements that do reflect how people talk in the real world and be able to translate them into standard form so that we can then apply the rules of categorical logic to those statements when they appear in arguments. Okay? I have the day off this Sunday. Days identical to, all days identical to this Sunday are days I have off. Now we have our original statement expressed as a standard form categorical statement with our subject and predicate terms as countable nouns or noun phrases. Whenever it rains, I'm sad. Times identical to, days identical to, months identical to. All times it rains are times I'm sad. Whenever it rains, I'm sad. Okay? So yeah, so like I say, months identical to, years identical to, times, nights, days. Crescent City is in Del Norte County. Places identical to. All places identical to Crescent City are places in Del Norte County. And you can see how these parameters allow us to take these very specific, these very particular nouns and turn them into countable noun phrases while not losing the ability of the statement to make the specific reference to the individual thing that is being mentioned. So when we get a statement like this kite is huge, we can even use something like things identical to. All things identical to this kite are huge things. Desert Solitaire is a great book. Well, how about books identical to, or documents, or movies, or podcasts, or songs? All books identical to Desert Solitaire are great books. Okay, so these parameters can be really super useful even though they're not very casual. They don't allow us to create ordinary sentences that we would speak in our day-to-day conversations, but they do allow us to take those sentences that come from our everyday conversations and put them into standard form categorical statements so we can start applying aversion, conversion, and contraposition to these things. Okay, a couple of rules to think about. The fewest words that you can use in a standard form translation is usually the best. So while there may be instances when you can use a parameter, think about whether or not you really should. So here you have two sentences. No appliances identical to televisions or vehicles identical to bicycles. Why not just say no televisions or bicycles? Okay, so the fewest words possible without losing any of the original meaning.